management or owners of WGBB.
Good evening. This is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents. Happy to be here. I guess I'm coming through loud. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's the upgrades to the studio. I mean, it's a great place to be. We're live on 1240 AM WGBB, Late Night Parents, LNP.TV, Late Night Parents. You can find us on Twitter, Late Night Parent, and you can find me as the real Ted Hicks. And in the studio, I'm guessing we should hear some type of applause, but I didn't tell Brian to have the applause ready. Dr. Michele is in the building. She's here. Happy to have her here. Doc, how you doing?
How are you doing, Ted?
Pretty good, pretty good. It was kind of hectic getting here this evening. I mean, we had our issues.
You had a full weekend. You had company.
Oh.
So you were busy still celebrating with your company.
And to my family members that I love you so dearly, so much, that visited this weekend, I'm even happier to see you guys go.
That's not right at all. I hope they heard that.
I hope so, too. My brother-in-law is, well, I think he should be home by now. He's in Greensboro, North Carolina. He made the trek back. I'm hoping he's listening, and that put a smile on his face. So, Gary, Karen, definitely love you guys. What's new with you?
Well, I guess the latest is that I am now a double marathoner.
Whew.
So I completed my second world major marathon, with New York being the first one last year and Chicago from this past Sunday.
Wow. So when you're not running marathons, what else do you do?
That is a good question.
That is.
Sometimes I do wonder what I do.
I'm telling you. I mean, I don't know if, I mean, she was reluctant to introduce herself, but the site is AskDrMichele.com. We are talking with Dr. Michele Reed. Happy to have her here in the studio. So, Doc, you ran your second marathon. You're here, and I guess this is the show is an Ask Dr. Michele segment. So there is.
You want to ask me your question?
Right. No, but I'm saying when you're not helping people in the community, speaking out to our youth, and of course our young women, inspiring them, of course running marathons, providing medical instruction at both of your facilities. I think you're a mom.
Well, I am a mother. I am a wife.
Okay.
I guess I was a wife before I became a mom.
I think so. Okay.
I'm also a physician.
Okay.
I do have my own practice with 2 locations. One is in Garden City, Long Island, and the other one is in Queens.
Okay.
Rosedale, Queens, that is. In addition to that, I am a school district physician. We do have to cover 2 different school districts, be it Roosevelt and Malvern. So I have to attend games for middle school, JV, and varsity football games to make sure if anyone gets hurt, we evaluate them, if someone needs to go to the hospital. So between all of that, I think it sort of keeps me a little busy.
I would hope so.
And then today when I showed up at church, the minister and everyone's like, oh, we haven't seen you in months. And I was like, well, that's because I said I just looked at my phone and a reminder went off that this was the Sunday that I had the least amount of activity in months.
Really?
As far as movement. And I said, because I didn't have to do a run.
Gotcha.
And I didn't run. And I said, I'm finally finished with doing all my long runs. So I'm here in church today. And I was like, I'm sorry, I wore my medal to church as I'm wearing it today. So you can see it too.
Nice.
I'll let you feel it later on.
Very nice. Very nice. I will be taking pictures of you in the medal, with the medal, hopefully by the WGBB signage in the back of you. But that's important. It's important to be busy, stay busy. I'm sure sometimes Scott is like, wow, there's a lot going on, because he's also ultra busy. And and that's how it is with, today's parents, and, being in a marriage where, yes, it's a partnership. Yes, it's an agreement, but there's things moving at all times.
Mm-hmm. And keeping track of everyone's schedule. So
yes.
The husband, the wife, the kids, and everyone has their own schedule. So everyone needs to be on the same page, because otherwise you're going to show up at the wrong event at the wrong time on the wrong day.
That
and I'm
is
pretty
true.
sure you've done that before.
That is true. There was a time, biography breakfast reminds me of a time Nyla, my daughter, was given the biography breakfast. It was, I think, 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I hopped on the train to go to the city. And then my wife said to me, Ted, you ran out. Today's the biography breakfast. I said, oh, my goodness. Hopped off the train. Luckily, I was only one stop away. Mm-hmm. Walked back, had to get in my car, mm-hmm. drive to the school, sweating profusely. It's raining outside. And I'm like, of course, Dr. Michele, in the studio, I get animated. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm driving there, and I tell you, maybe 45 seconds before she's about to go up, I come bursting into the room. The parents are clapping, everyone's clapping, and I'm like...
So were they clapping for you?
I think they were clapping for me, that I made it in time. I made it in time for the biography breakfast. And it's situations like that. I think you say it the most. You said it best, where husband and wife are working together. Mm-hmm. The schedules are crazy, and you got to manage it.
Yes.
Right after this, I have to go to Party City in Carl Place because we're doing, my son is doing a project on Hamilton.
Okay.
So I have to get him the Halloween costume for Hamilton.
Oh, wow.
So... because it's his turn, because he's in 4th grade now. And it's same school, same setting. So his turn to do the biography breakfast, and he's going to dress up as Hamilton, and how Hamilton made a difference to New York.
Okay. So why didn't we just go and see the musical then?
We should have. I
think you could probably still hook that up.
I think so.
You have to have a connection.
I do. But yeah, that's what it came down to, what we're doing. But along with that, you and I could sit here and talk, and we can go from 7 o'clock and the sports talk 12:40 guys. We lock the door; they wouldn't be able to get in here, and Brian would just be like, "Oh my goodness." So. I know there's certain things we have to follow. If you would like to, and this is totally unscripted. This is the best. I love doing things unscripted, because it's just like, you just throw it out there against the wall. I know Dr. Michele is like, Ted, you didn't give me any idea about any of this stuff. No, but it's early. I want to get it out of the way, because we only have 46 more minutes to before the show ends. What is my Monday motivation from Dr. Michele? Da-da-da!
The Monday motivation is to stay true to yourself.
Very good. Very, very good. That's what I like to hear. Oh my goodness. So listen, there's a lot of stuff going on. I did not put you on the spot right there.
I did not say that you put me on the spot. I just said
Monday motivation, because I was at, and I have no problem saying I'm a proud member of the Ask Dr. Michele team.
You're trying to get some brownie points here.
But
too late. I'm going to tell your family about what your comment about them.
I know. Going to be in trouble anyway. Wouldn't be the first time I was in the doghouse. You know, you kind of guess, right? So I want to say there's been a lot that happened this week. You know, from debates, from scandals, from videotapes, or recordings. You know, there's a lot happening out there. But there was a story that happened this week that I read that went across the AP, and it hit everywhere. And it was about there was a medical situation happening on Delta Airlines, and there happened to be a need for a medical physician. Mm-hmm. And someone stood up. Happened to be an African-American woman that stood up to say, hey, I'm answering the call. I'm a doctor. The stewardess or the person that was directing the traffic or needed the supervision, leading that effort to get the supervision was like, no, honey, you can sit down. It's okay. And I think there was a second request, and the person stood up. The person waved their hand saying, hey, if someone's in need, I'm that person. Mm-hmm. And turns out there was also another physician on that airplane. Why? And it's so important because, I mean, when I read that story, I immediately thought of you. Not to say that you've been in that situation. I don't know, but I thought of you saying, here's someone who's credentialed, who's done everything, who's, a focal point for the community, helping people. Why does stuff like this still happen, Dr. Michele?
We have no idea. And for me, it's gotten to the point where my husband, he doesn't want to travel anymore with me because every time we travel together, there is a medical emergency.
Right.
And be it on a plane, be it on a cruise ship, be it in a hotel.
Right.
With that being said, we've all been in positions, especially as physicians, and that's why everyone is going through and talking about their story as far as physicians, where we've been told that we can't do something, or when someone asks if you're really a doctor and they need to see our credentials, right, even though you might have a badge on that says doctor,
right, or
someone else who's around you is addressing you as a doctor,
right.
In this day and time, people still want to see and make sure you are who you say you are.
Okay.
But in this particular...
I got to jump in here and say, I'm okay with where you're going, where you're taking us. Mm-hmm. That, there has to be some checks and balances.
No, but in this particular case, she was not asked for her credentials.
Okay.
When she volunteered the first time, when she volunteered the second time, there was no question about, let me see your credentials, let me see proof of your license. It was more so, are you sure you're a doctor? Why are you traveling from Detroit? And what type of doctor?
So I got to stop you again. Are there no doctors in Detroit?
I don't know. But I mean, I know some friends who trained in Detroit, and I know some who do still work in Detroit. But apparently in her world, you couldn't be a doctor that was traveling from Detroit or living in Detroit. On that same token, a white physician came up and stated he was a physician, and she gave him the permission to go ahead and work with the passenger that was on the plane. But at the same time, he never showed any proof of his credentials.
Okay.
Now, I've been in situations where I've been questioned as to who I am. Am I really a physician? And that would range from all types of people. Okay. Even in the hospital, when a patient sees me, I want to see the other doctor. Well, there is no other doctor. And those are situations that are real for us. Even, I think it was the week of Labor Day weekend. That Monday on my flight back, I was on JetBlue. There was a medical emergency. They asked for a physician or a nurse or a physician assistant. I raised my hand. The gentleman came over and he said, are you a doctor or are you a nurse? And I said, I'm a doctor. So he said, okay, do you have proof that you are a doctor? Luckily, I have a license that you get from the Department of Motor Vehicle that states that I am a doctor. It has my license number. He looked at it. He said, okay, you're fine. And then he let me go ahead and work on the patient. So things like that happen. I spoke to one of my friends who works for JetBlue, and she said JetBlue, and this is right when this happened to me a couple of weeks ago, she said JetBlue's policy is to ask for your credentials.
Okay.
But a couple days later, I get a doorbell. My doorbell's ringing at my house. The garbage man was driving down the street, wasn't holding on tightly, hit a bump in the road, fell off the back of the truck, and apparently hit his head. I was in my pajamas. I grabbed my medical bag, went outside to start to attend to him. Meanwhile, he's laying on the ground. A pool of blood is right around by his head. And his supervisor then said to me, after my neighbor had introduced me as being a doctor who lives right there because he fell right in front of my house. He's like, oh, so you're a doctor? And I said, yes, I'm a doctor. He's like, well, why do you have a medical bag? And I said, because I'm getting ready to go to a football game because I have to be the covering physician for a football game. Oh, where do you practice? I said, I own a practice. I have 2 locations, one in Garden City, the other one in Queens. Oh, what type of doctor are you? And I said, I'm a family physician.
I got to stop you and say, how much time are we... I mean, you could be working on this person.
Oh, no. He drilled me. And I said, wait. When he asked me that last question, like, what type of doctor? I said, family physician. So I said, am I going to go ahead, or is there something else you'd like to ask me? Because by this time, I already had my gloves on. I had the gauze in my hand, and I was getting ready to touch him. And this is right in front of my house that this happens, and you have the nerve to question who I am, even though my neighbor told you who I am, and I'm telling you who I am. I'd rather be in my bed sleep, trying to get my extra hour of sleep, because guess what? I didn't have to be at the job as early because I'm going to a football game.
Right.
So it's a reality.
Dr. Michele, I want to put a pause on this because we got to pick this up. I believe Chrissy Steed is in the queue. Chrissy is, the question comes down to what business owners don't wish to have similar entrepreneurial success for their children, whether they have hopes to pass on the family business one day or can see their children creating, their own success or their own dreams. Well, it's never too late to get started. Today's KidPreneurs ventures far beyond the lemonade stand. They manage staffs, meet celebrities, and moguls in the making. Such a hustle can be a good sign of things to come. Chrissy Steed, she uses her book, The KidPreneur in You, to explain how to keep our children motivated on their way to accomplishing the ultimate goal of running their own business at a young age. Chrissy, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. Chrissy, also in the studio, we have Dr. Michele Reed. She is also on this line with us. I want to thank you so much because for really all that you guys do in the community and, being entrepreneurs. We had a discussion on Wednesday about the fear of clowns. It was a great podcast, and I want to thank you for taking out a few minutes to talk about the fear of clowns on Wednesday. We do have a couple of questions for you. And as we said before, welcome to the show. What is a KidPreneur?
Well, the KidPreneur brand was founded by myself. I'm the CEO, and it really helps children ages 8 and up through high school understand the importance of entrepreneurship. They learn how to create a business plan, how to market, how to engage an audience and find their target customers. They really understand the principles in a simplistic way of how to become mini moguls, mini business owners.
That's very good, because as a physician, I do own my own practice.
Yes.
My children have already told me, they're 12, that they do not plan to be physicians and they do not plan to have their own doctor's office.
Okay.
But at the same time, they are interested in the world of being a business. So how do we get them motivated to do these big things in their life?
Well, my thing is they definitely need the support of their parents. My daughter's 8 years old, and she's the CEO of AMAC by Amaya, which is a sneaker line branded for girls. And she designed everything herself. And when she came to me with this idea, because originally when she was 3, she actually started a tutu line, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
So she started, putting colors together. And I'm like, okay, there's something there. And then she turns 8 and she says, I don't like tutus anymore. I'm too old for those. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I want to start a sneaker line. So it kind of came up, and she's been on QVC pitching. She was actually at the Circle of Sisters Expo earlier today.
Oh, wow.
She had a booth out there and, connected with Bobby Brown's wife, Alicia, who was really interested, and Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad. So we connected and networked with a lot of great people, and we're excited. Hopefully we'll have it in Macy's soon.
That'll be awesome.
Thank you.
Chrissy, question, what can we do to prepare our children for failure?
Well, the thing is, they need to know that 99% of all businesses have failed. As a CEO myself, I've started several businesses that have failed. So we have to let them know from the beginning that expect failure, and from failure you will learn. Everything is not going to come to you right away. It's going to take some time. We need to set their expectations within, like, as soon as they start planning a business, letting them know that failure is okay, and from failure they can grow.
Okay. Hey, I do have a technology-related question, because nowadays we have, our children are, so enmeshed with technology. With the rise of technology, will we always be trying to keep our kids safe?
Absolutely. The thing is that, you have 3-year-olds now who are on social media, and they have, not 3-year-olds, but they have tablets, and they're more, when I was younger, I didn't have tablets, and computers in front of my face everywhere I went. When we wanted to research something, we pulled out an encyclopedia. So now the kids today, they have tablets in front of them. So it's really, like I said, I bring it back to the parents, really communicating with their kids, letting them know the safeties and the pros and the cons of being online, and what to do and what not to do, so that they're able to keep themselves safe. The same concept of stranger danger. If you're out in the community, you don't know someone, definitely don't speak to them. If you're in danger, run away. So it's kind of the same concept with being online as well.
Hey, I do have a follow-up question. With you being a CEO, we have Dr. Michele also as a CEO, and I guess this is a combo question for both of you. In regards to hearing nowadays about all these hacks and everything else like that, and cybersecurity, are you guys doing anything extra to protect your businesses, to protect your brand, your assets, in regards to technology?
I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary, just making sure that all of my security, cyber, Nortons, and all those antiviruses type sort of things are in place. And just kind of monitoring all accounts a little closely, a little more closely, actually, just making sure that, nothing's out of place. And if it is, that we take the proper precautions to make sure that nothing, especially financial and private data, isn't being breached or leaked out.
Okay, and I was going to say, with me, since we are a doctor's office, we've had the electronic health records since 2008. Right. I realized I can't do everything, so we hired an IT person who comes in, just like how you do, Ted, and they do everything from soup to nuts. And I guess the main thing with us is just to make sure that when you're in the room, yes, the computer screen is up, but as soon as you get ready to exit the room, everything needs to be shut down. You need to be logged off.
Yes.
And that's one of the key things that we always have to just remind our staff to be mindful, because if the computer is there, someone is going to try and log in and do whatever they want to do, surf the internet, and go wherever they feel that they need to go.
Real quickly, Chrissy, tell us about the KidPreneur in You.
The KidPreneur in You is a book that I created. It's actually a part of a curriculum. So we have the KidPreneur book, workbook, which is like 10 modules, as well as a teacher's lesson plan. So at the moment, we are in several schools in New Jersey, and we're trying to launch it nationwide where children have access to the curriculum, the entrepreneurial curriculum, and teachers are becoming licensees so that they also have their own business. So, for instance, if there's an after-school program or a tutoring program, they can actually license the KidPreneur curriculum and teach it to their students on their own. And then we have a huge end-of-the-year event where we bring all the entrepreneurs, KidPreneurs, independent business owners together, and we honor them for at a weekend event in June.
Chrissy, as always, I want to thank you tonight for taking a few minutes out to get online with us and tell us about, your vision and all the great things that you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Best ways to get in contact with you via social media, and how do we get your book? All the above.
Absolutely. So the website is www.KidPreneur.com, just like entrepreneur, but kitty is first. On social media, we can be reached at on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the KidPreneur brand. And my book is also available on Amazon.com.
And then how do we get in contact with your daughter to purchase her products?
Well, her website is AMAK, AMAK, by Amaya, AMIYA.com. So her products are available. And, we're currently waiting on QVC. We just pitched there. And then hopefully Macy's and other retailers pretty soon.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm proud of your daughter, and I don't even know her.
She's sitting right here. She's like, she hears everything, and I'm like, you can't speak.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, tell her I said congratulations, especially as a female entrepreneur, and I really, truly admire her hard work, because I know it's not easy.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, sweetie. Listen, Chrissy, maybe in the next upcoming weeks, we can get you and your daughter back on, and we can interview her. We'll make it as harmless as possible.
Absolutely. She loves talking.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
She was interviewing Bobby Brown's wife at the Circle of Sister Expo, because she actually interviews as well. So she's used to talking.
Oh, excellent.
Very good.
Excellent. So I think our people will get with your people, and we'll get your daughter in the queue. Thanks so much, all right?
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
And we're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back with Ask Dr. Michele.
Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook of your choice and a free 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/late-night-parents and choose from over 180,000 audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/late-night-parents. That's audibletrial.com/late-night-parents and get started today. Why Audible? Audible content includes more than 180,000 audio programs from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. That's audibletrials.com/late-night-parents.
Are you looking for some sick sports apparel? DHTK designed some of the newest and coolest brands such as Represent, Game Over, and Don't Hate the King. DHTK's vision is to integrate culture, fashion, and attitude that best represents the players and caters to us, the fans. Click on DHTK.com and subscribe to their mailing list for an automatic 10% off your order. If you are a basketball fan, follow DHTK on social media. Visit DHTK.com for more details. DHTK.com. You don't have to be a king to dress like one.
If you like your radio a bit on the fantastic side, try listening to the Happy Hour Network on Blog Talk Radio. The Happy Hour Network features live shows such as Late Night Parents with Ted Hicks, Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue with Todd Vandenberg, and Lee Vowell, The Seahawks Show with Kevin Daggett, and NBA Full Court Press with Danny Thompson. You can also catch podcasts like The Fwat Show, The Earnestly Speaking Podcast, Cinema Savants, and The Tennis Scene, found at blogtalkradio.com/Happy Hour Network. The Happy Hour Network, radio worth listening to. I am loving my Verizon FiOS. In fact, I recently joked that if we move, we have to find a place with FiOS coverage. To my surprise, our family actually agreed. Not only is FiOS the fastest internet service, it also has never been down, with the exception of when Storm Sandy hit us. And indeed, only FiOS gives you the same speed uploading for your files, photos, etc., as it does downloading, as in HD movies. Cable cannot offer you this, only FiOS. So go ahead, make a very smart choice with Verizon FiOS.
And we're back. This is Late Night Parents featuring Dr. Michele Reed. She's here in the building. Ways to get in contact with us. LateNightParents.com is the website. On Facebook.com/Late Night Parents. Real Ted Hicks on Twitter. Late Night Parent on Twitter. Ask Dr. Michele on Twitter. And she has another account, Dr. MC Reed, that I'm not sure she checks out all the time. Aha!
Okay. So, did you eat your dinner? Because you were kind of, I don't know, on the edge today.
No.
Or was it a long week and you didn't get much sleep?
Let me tell you. So, it was an extremely long week. Each day, I don't know, for some reason this week, working in higher education, this is the certain time of the semester where there's like a lull. So at the start of the semester, we ramp up and it's very busy. Mm-hmm. And it's also ultra busy towards finals. Mm-hmm. So I basically manage the computer information systems at a law school, an unnamed law school. But if you look me up on LinkedIn, you might find where I work at. We don't want you to do that. Okay. So, long week. Each day, I was in around about 8-ish on the train. So, but a lot of the evenings, I found myself coming home late, like on a 6 o'clock train or a 7 o'clock train, because there were specific issues at work. Mm-hmm. So, after a long week, I get a phone call yesterday. No one can log in on the network. And I'm like, it's one of those feelings where your eyes close and you're like, I really don't feel like traveling to the city today.
Was this in the morning or in the afternoon?
This was in the morning.
Oh, wow.
This was in the morning. And I was like, I really don't feel like doing this. I mean, yes, I'm going to do it because, yes, I love my job. And
you want to keep your job.
I want to keep my job, and I have to keep making those mortgage payments and the kids' tuition. But the other part of me was like, I really don't want to do this today. So I do have someone else did jump in there and go on site to assess the problem, and they gave me a heads up on what's going on so I can report back to the school what the deal is, how long the outage is expected to be, all the above. So today I did not go to church, Dr. Michele.
So wait a second. So are they back online? Is everything fine?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't say that.
Everything's back online. Come on. You can't leave unless everything is back online.
Oh my goodness! Well, you didn't go in, so that's why I just wanted to make sure.
You were 24 by. See, we're not like doctors or people that are important like yourself.
Everyone's important.
Oh my goodness!
Everyone plays a major role.
I tell you this, but we do put smiles on people's, on their face, because whatever the task that they need to do to complete at work, nowadays you need IT for everything. You need technology for everything.
That's right.
So I am the first one to say, and I always tell the people on my team, like, you're blessed to be here. Number one, you're making a good salary. You're at a place that's not really 24/7. It's not like you're at a bank. You're at a financial institution where, hey, yes, you work your shift, but we're also doing business in Japan right now. But it was a long week. It was a very, very long week. All different projects that I'm working on. And so there's the administrative side, and then there's the technical side that you have to fix. Mm-hmm. That is my week every week.
So then I have a question for you.
Yes.
What did you do for yourself?
What did I do for myself? So I said, self, what are you going to do for Ted? And what I did was I rejoined LA Fitness. I've gone to the gym starting Thursday. I've been there. So I plan to be there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just trying to get my life in order. Just trying to get healthy, stay healthy. Because you get to a certain point in your life when I'm in my mid-40s, where you're like, you know what? I want to be around to see my kids get married and, have, live their lives and go to college and everything else like that. So I know it's one of those type of Miss America answers I'm giving you right now, but I just said...
Because you see my eyes.
Yeah. I just had that moment where I said, you know what? It's time to get things in order. And you got to start doing things for yourself, because all day long you're doing things for everyone else.
So now, what day did you go to the gym?
I went this morning, and I went on Friday.
So when you went to the gym,
yes,
did you actually do something at the gym besides sign up?
No, I was already signed up. I signed up before. I stopped my membership. Okay, because I wasn't going before. But
when you went on Friday and today, did you actually do something at the gym?
Of course.
Okay, I'm just checking, because sometimes people just roll in.
Oh, no,
and then they roll back out.
No. So on Friday and today, what I did was I did 25 minutes on the elliptical. Okay,
great.
Okay, so because I wanted a full body workout, get the heart rate up going and everything else like that. And just, I don't know, I just want to, because like I said, I don't do it for myself. And I got to tell you this much, Dr. Michele, my wife was a little upset with me when I was leaving for the show today.
Why?
Because she said, you went to the gym without me. And I said, yeah, you were at church. I didn't go to church today. I stayed home and I went to the gym. And she was like, we could have went to the gym together. And I said, you're right. I'm horrible. And I'll make sure I never make this mistake again. I don't know if I was telling the truth or not.
Well, I was going to say, when are you going to go back to the gym again?
I'll probably go. So I'm planning to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay. So I guess the key thing is, especially if you are going to be exercising and your wife, it seems like she wants to be a part of your exercise routine, is just to make sure your schedules match up.
Right.
Because if you're doing your thing and you're being healthy, it sounds like she wants to do the same thing.
That is
which
so
is
true.
key, which is very important.
I mean, it really is. I just said today, and I sounded like a scoundrel as I was walking out the door. I was like, yeah, if I would have waited for you, it closes early today, and then I have the studio at 7, so that means I have to leave by 6:30, and I usually back my way in to a lot of things. So I didn't see a time when we were going to connect. So I said, you know what? I was very, very selfish. Oh, I think we do have someone at 7:45. This is, oh my goodness, Dr. Michele.
Well, never a dull moment.
No, it's like kind of like by the seat of your pants. You know, we're just all over the place. But
and that's why I said that's why my husband doesn't like to travel with me, because everything is by the seat of our pants, because you never know what type of emergency is going to happen when I'm around. And you just have to be prepared. But, you know, going back to our earlier conversation, though, is that the first time that I was ever asked to see my credentials was a couple of weeks ago with JetBlue. Really? Other than that, all the other times that I've experienced an emergency, from the time that 7 days after I graduated from medical school, where I had to do CPR on someone because she went into full cardiopulmonary arrest and basically was just out. I was never asked to show any ID for that. Our honeymoon, when we were traveling back, there was emergency right at the ticket counter. No one ever asked for my credentials.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if it's something that's going to be a known process, I think one of the comments that I saw online was that they said that when you have the drop down, you should make sure that you note that there's a doctor on board and keep track of where the doctor is, because I don't think anyone's just going to go around and say that they're a doctor, or you can just even verify their credentials before or once you see that they've already booked their reservation. Everyone has a computer system.
That's true.
And when you check in now, everything is online, and you can just create another little box saying physician,
everything's a form.
and
You're
you
right.
can put in your state license. And I don't think as a physician that we would have any problem doing that.
You're right. You're right. Everything's a form. Very easily, you can edit it, add that drop-down box in, and...
So you know what? Maybe Delta needs you to do their IT.
I don't know about that. I don't know about all of that. No. I love my little boutique shop that I am dealing with, and I've been dealing with for the past 9 years. See, and that's the thing. There's some people out there that this is what they want to do, or they want to, I don't know. It's funny in the world of IT. We're going to definitely have to have another conversation on that one.
No, we can. We can.
But I think next in the queue we have my good friend Hezzie McCaleb. The question that we're going to ask him, I asked him specifically to come on to talk about Colin Kaepernick. Today was his first day that he was the starter for the San Francisco 49ers. So we all know of Colin Kaepernick with his stance to protest, with the national anthem. So I say all of that, but I want to welcome Hezzie McCaleb, the creator of the RYP podcast. Hezzie, what's going on?
Hey, Ted. How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Hey, we have Dr. Michele also in the studio joining us. So, Hezzie, Dr. Michele, Hezzie.
Hi, Hezzie.
Hey, Dr. Michele. How's it going?
Oh, I am fine. Thank you for agreeing to be on tonight.
Oh, yeah. It's a pleasure.
I mean, Hezzie, be truthful. You only knew at 7:42.
That's the behind the scenes, we don't...
but we're family.
I don't always know.
We're family, but there's transparency here. Hezzie, want to get into this question for you. Today, Colin Kaepernick started for the San Francisco 49ers. They lost to the Buffalo Bills 45-16. Outside, the people were tailgating. There were, as you know, they were selling shirts that said, "Shut up and stand up, Kaepernick." There was like a dummy that they had outside that had an afro and a Kaepernick jersey that people were tackling. All different types of things were being shouted today. Tell us about, just from your perspective, your overall reaction, significance, symbolism, and the status on just overall relations with Kaepernick returning to the league as a starting quarterback?
Well, I mean, after, growing up learning about athletes, that were socially conscious like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and obviously Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, it's so refreshing in this time in our country where there's a lot of, there's a big gulf of racial divide all throughout our country. So to see somebody like Colin Kaepernick, taking a stand, and in spite of great sacrifice, him being ridiculed, like you're saying, people have dummies, they're tackling. I saw some shirts on Instagram where they had a bullseye on them and just all kind of nasty stuff. But in spite of all that, man, I look at him as the Luke Cage of the NFL, man. Seeing him walk into, the Buffalo Stadium with the big afro and the Muhammad Ali shirt, man, it was just fantastic.
That's great. That's great.
It seemed like you had that line ready.
Oh, yeah. I thought about it 2 minutes before I came on.
But I was going to say, but on the other hand, you did have crowds that were saying and showing signs that said Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
That weren't necessarily black either. So it goes either way.
Right. And that was awesome to see as well. There were plenty of white fans that were, Buffalo Bills fans as well, that were taking a knee outside, supporting the movement. So it was beautiful to see that in spite of, the nasty things that some of the people were trying to do, they had some people standing up for a good cause.
Mm-hmm, most definitely.
Hey, Hezzie, we're going to change topics real quick. Want to know, I know our time is short, but tell us about the RYP podcast.
Okay. Well, as you know, Ted, I am a life coach. My focus is career transition with an IT twist. So for a lot of folks that are, in the IT industry that have gotten burned out over the years and are looking to try to make a transition, I help them with that, and I talk about different topics related to that. I bring in different people from IT, different life coaches. You've been on the podcast, and we just talk about real things to help people to be able to make the transition to the next step in their lives.
Gotcha. Well, tell us this much. Like I said, I know this is a short appearance. Best ways to catch the RYP podcast, ways to get in contact with you, and all the above.
Gotcha. Well, you can definitely, I'm Coach Hez on Instagram, and I'm also Coach Hez on Twitter as well. So you can look me up on there, and I'll be posting any information about the podcast on either Twitter, on Instagram, or on my Facebook as well. Redesign Your Paradigm podcast is also on Facebook. So those are 3 places you can look it up.
Now, do you have any upcoming events?
Not at the moment, but I would definitely say for anybody that's interested, I got some things, cooking. So stay tuned.
Oh, great.
Hez, as always, thanks so much for taking a few minutes out to join us.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you, Dr. Michele and Ted. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Be well, Hez.
Bye-bye.
So, Dr. Michele, just you and I.
A bad version of singing.
And Brian. Want to thank Brian, as always, super producer and engineer, as always, with 1240 AM WGBB. Dr. Michele, I want to leave these last few minutes for you for anything that you would like to talk about that's upcoming over the next week or so.
Well, I think that one of the things that we probably need to address soon in the future is an incident that happened to me this past week where I had a 4-year-old patient who came in. I examined her. I did her immunization. She had to get 3 shots.
Okay.
Cried a little bit.
Okay.
And then after that, she was like, okay, let's go, Mommy, so we can go see the guy doctor. There is no guy doctor in the practice.
Oh, my goodness.
And I said to her, I'm the doctor. Don't you remember your mom told you my name is Dr. Michele? And she said, no, girls aren't doctors, only boys.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes. So this is coming right behind what happened with Dr. Tamika Cross on Delta Airlines.
Right.
So no one believes as an adult she's a doctor. And then now you have a 4-year-old who doesn't see that females can be doctors. So I think in the near future we should talk about the impact of what's going on and how we can sort of change the mindset, especially of our children, because I really feel that we need to start at a younger age.
We do.
Exposing kids to all different types of things so that at 4 years old, she shouldn't be feeling that only boys can be doctors.
Right.
And we're in the day and age of social media, especially, like I said, you do IT. I posted a picture of my face on a couple of sites and how I just looked so perplexed and at the same time upset. Got so many hits and views because people are in an agreement because they were upset. So that means that maybe she's not watching Doc McStuffins and sees a little girl who's a doctor who looks like her because she's a black female. Maybe she's not seeing other female doctors because apparently whoever she's been seeing for the last 4 years must have been a guy. And her mother was there, and her mother tried to redirect her after I, spoke to her, and I told her that as a girl, we can do anything that we want to do.
Right.
And her mother, like I said, was in agreement, but at the same time, what is going on that at 4 years old, that's the way she sees the world.
Right.
And that's something that we all need to work on.
Yes. I mean, and I hope for that young lady and for her parents, they're keeping her in tune that we're about to elect a female president.
I didn't even go into that because, our time was limited.
Wow.
And I didn't want to oversaturate her on our initial visit.
Right.
But, just tried to give her a little peek. At the same time, I am a double marathoner now.
Right.
I let her hold my medal.
Right.
She wore it while she got her shots. But even with all of that, it didn't hit her that I was actually the doctor. But when she left, she said, "Bye, doctor."
Okay, so you did reinforce it because I was like, where's the story going? Because I want a happy ending, and you gave us a happy ending.
We had a happy ending.
But it's important for what you just said. We do. I mean, I think it's also a representation of, and I know we're getting ready to wrap up, I think it's a representation of the parents also. A very strong representation of the parents, because when you have the children are only modeling what they hear at home and or when the parents stick them in front of the children in front of the TV or...
And I was going to say, and the same thing goes into what happened today at the football game. You have kids who are hearing and seeing what their parents doing.
Right.
And they adopt the beliefs of their parents.
Yes. And that's how it starts.
I think I was 4 years old in church, and a kid called me a nigger.
Right.
Where did he learn that?
Right.
At 4 years old, and we're in a church. It has to start from somewhere, and more than likely it's starting from his house, because I don't think that's what we learned in church school.
Nope. Definitely not Sunday school. So we're at the point. Brian has given us the sign. Dr. Michele, best ways of getting in contact with you. I mean, hey, I'm on an ongoing chat with you, but for the rest of America and the UK that listen to this show, best ways to get in contact with you, Doc.
The best ways to get in contact with me is askdrmichele.com, and that's DRMICHELE, Ask Dr. Michele. And as far as my office, 516-794-2200, extension number 8. That's MS Family Medicine. And I forgot to share with you, this week we are going to be on Verizon Fios One for a segment on breast cancer because this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right.
And all week we're going to be on Verizon Fios 1, Push Pause with Archie Snowden, discussing breast cancer.
I have Verizon Fios at home, and they also sponsor the show, so I will be watching.
I hope so.
Oh, my goodness. It was wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Michele. Looking forward to see you as maybe as early as next week or next couple of weeks. All right, we're out of here.
Expressed in the